There's other pages like your buying guides, your care guides, your repair guides, your privacy policy, your terms of service, and your FAQ, which build foundation of trust for you. Okay? So just like when we were talking about in content, same thing in UI. These are major factors of trying to build trust. What you also notice is they put some text like secure shipping on the bottom there also, which is convincing the customer that don't worry, our shipping will be secure. Because people wonder, आएगा नहीं आएगा, सही आएगा नहीं आएगा, कोई steal कर लेगा, क्या होगा, all that kind of stuff. This is EMI. This is EMI. Bill Me Later is an EMI system.
So won't it be recurring payment?
Yeah.
Be helpful for them?
No. As a business, I want my payment now, and I want it as much as possible without the Bill Me Later guys cutting another 2, 3, 4, 5% from me for having the customer opt for this. So I want all my payments now. So these are the pages we were talking about where we build foundation of trust, right? This is something we also covered in content. This is a statement that I didn't want to miss. Okay, we took out other statements from this. This is one statement I did not want to miss. Failure comes when you don't listen. Okay? You can't put something out there and assume it's great. Okay? It's up to us to make sure we're listening to improve our chances for success. If not this time, next time. All I'm saying is don't assume what you're going to do is just going to be perfect. Listen to others. Listen to your customers. Look into your partners. Okay? Because there's always room to improve. And if not today, you can improve next time. But at least know that improvement is needed. Okay? There is no site out there, by the way, that is perfect, including an Amazon, which is one of the largest, or Alibaba, right? They continuously improve. They change their content, they change their placements, they change their colors, they change all kinds of stuff to improve. Okay? So we need to make sure that everybody understands that failure will come if you don't listen. Okay? Because remember, I told you, if your user interface, which is your design, and your content is taken care of, hopefully 50% of your job is done. But if you're not listening and constantly making things better, it's going to end up failing. There's two other things very quickly that I want to cover. There's something, I don't know if you guys heard of this, called a heat map. Right? Basically, what they do is they put people in a room and they put these special helmets with goggles and all, and they have them look at these websites and see how much time or where their concentration is going. So there's two concepts. One is called a heat map, and the other is called a gaze plot. Heat maps are basically telling you, where you see the red spots, those are hot spots. This is where people are looking more. It's right in their eye. Okay? Usually, on the right-hand hotspot, do you know why that's a hotspot? Why were people concentrating on that more? Can somebody tell me? Huh? Somebody?
People are looking at the price?
Absolutely. That's the area where the price is. Now you understand that price is very important to these people. That's why that area is red. Okay? More than likely, the area right next to it on the left side, which is also red, do you know why that would be red? And again, I'm assuming this. It's probably recommended or similar items. Okay? So what this does is, and this you can get tested for your website. It's a costly affair, but you can actually do it, your website, app, whatever, and they'll actually create the heat maps for you. Okay? So you can see what is more important to your customers. Where are they looking? Now, the other thing which I was talking about is the gaze plot. This is what tells you, people start at a certain point, okay? And then they shift their focus. We have a gaze, right? We look at something and we look at things differently. We kind of move. Then we blink our eyes and we gaze again. And then we blink our eyes and gaze again. And every color you see is a different gaze. And every time, how much time being spent at that area or how it's looking changes. Okay? But most of the time, what you're looking at is that they're concentrating on the product. Okay? Now, again, this is just a sample. Let's assume some customer may have come in and they don't like the product. They would probably concentrate on the menus more. But this gives you information as to what customers are looking for. The both two things, the gaze plot and the heat map, tell you what is important for your customers. I'm not saying that you're going to go out and use this tomorrow, but larger brands today are all using this and implementing this. But again, this is very high-end technology, very cool to use. Large retailers use this. I don't know how many of us can afford to get people in a room and put a little helmet on them and say, कि अच्छा ठीक है मेरा website को देख के बताओ कैसे चल रहा है types.
But normally, what does it cost like around approximately?
Very truthfully, I don't know. I would not even dare to find out. Given that a person in a room I know will cost me money, I know that that room will cost me money and that helmet that I'm talking about will cost me money. I'm sure it's upwards of what I can afford per product. Because remember, this cannot work if you're going to just do it at one time. This has to happen across multiple pages, multiple products. Right? Then you know what a customer, and it has to happen with multiple customers because each customer, let's say 40 people in this room may be very different.
Maybe multiple cultures also.
Yes, it could be cultures also.
So it actually links to the research on the site or for future references. It helps link there. Does it also link to analytics? That's my last question on this.
Yes, absolutely. This definitely links back to analytics. This is a huge step of analytics. But again, this is one of the major advanced steps, right? Your brand has to have a lot of money, a lot of power to go out and do this. Because you can't put people in the room for days to do one-by-one products and pages, etc. Because the other thing you have to realize is if you're going to just have them do this all day long, the results are useless. Because nobody browses all day long. Right? So you have to do it in normal circumstances. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to our domain experts and kind of find out how important is design for us today, okay? And we're going to reach out to Vivek and let Vivek tell us what he thinks about design.
So, I am a firm believer that if you've not got good design and good content, see your website or your app or anything which you're putting out there is really your brochure, if I may use that traditional word. Just like, traditionally if you look at small business, they used to spend huge amount of money in designing a high quality brochure. I've seen brochure, people have designed brochure where each brochure is probably costing $500 to design. Every single brochure might have costed $500 to produce. But I've seen a lot of them spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 on a website and then suddenly start expecting people to think highly of you. That's a bad idea. Put in good quality content, invest in the design because that's what people will take a judgment call on you. So when somebody is sitting in a UK, in a US, in an Africa, in an Australia, logs in because that's the first thing he's going to do, by the way. First thing which an international guy will do as soon as he hears from you, hears of you, hears about you, is to look at your website. And if that is not there, you probably have lost the battle right up front. It's very difficult. So I'm a firm believer that you have to look at that as a serious investment. Ensure that you go out there, get a good design so that people can see you and and get a good impression. Just like I am turned out here, dressed pretty decently. I'm not here on shorts. Similarly, it's a bad design is like appearing in shorts in a convention. You have to, you think, do you want to do that?
I think a couple of good points. One, he says it's important, and he's right. We pay money for a brochure. It may or may not work. We'll get 1,000 of them printed, distribute them, and we don't. On the other side, we spend 15,000, 20,000 rupees on a website design, and finally, we want that to work tomorrow. Right? He's right. I think most people's mentality is that. So, but the other point he was making is how, design is very important. Your website is very important because today the first thing people look out for is when you say, I'm in business, they're going out and searching if you have a website, right? Can you actually have your product listed on it, right? Though I disagree with him on one thing, showing up in shorts on in a convention to me is not bad design. Okay, it depends what the convention is. What if it's a surf convention? Then I'd forget the shorts. I should show up in swimming trunks, right? So I think it all has to do with what you're talking about. Even in design, it's the same thing, right? Who are we catering? What are we doing? That kind of stuff. What I want to do is actually ask one of our other domain experts. This person actually runs e-commerce for a big brand in India called Ferns and Petals. And let them ask, let's ask them and have them describe what is the importance of content, the strategy, and the design altogether, okay?
Content and design, two different subjects, but coming to the design, customer should be able to figure out what he wants in just 5 clicks. Your navigation has to be optimized according to the search that you are getting. If your customer is going to search birthday flowers, probably it makes sense to have a category called birthday flowers. And if they're searching for first birthday or 5th birthday or 50th birthday, then you should have categories 50th birthday flowers here. So they are easily, they easily reach there. That is one part of it. Of course, the look and feel of the design of the website also plays an important role. The better the design, the more trust the customer will have. If you have a website that looks like it was done in 1995, they may think that, okay, they have not updated it, they're not in the business anymore. So have your website up to date, up and running. And then second part comes the content and design. Since customer is not actually looking at the product on your web physically in real life, it is better that you tell them very clearly on the product page that, hey, one could be your sales pitch, which could talk about what is the aspiration value of that product, and second, it could come down to the exact items or the content that he is going to get. You are going to get 12 roses, yellow cellophane, half kg eggless cake. You tell them upfront that this is what your product is going to contain. And when you have to pass on this information to your fulfillment center also at the same time. So before delivery, they will check on, okay, I've got half kg cake, I've got message card, I've got this. So this, you have to weave it from the front end till the last mile delivery partner. This is what you have to do. So content and front end, yes, very, very critical in a business when you're not really facing the customer in person. Customer is making choice on the product page itself. Yeah.
I think his points are valid when he's talking about design, right? He's talking about, especially because they're in gifting, right? Flowers, etc. So when he's saying that if it's somebody's 50th birthday, it has to cater to 50th birthday. It cannot be that, hey, there's 100 birthdays and you can choose one of them kind of thing, right? So I think he's right in that sense of when it comes to UI.
I have a question. What color works for New Age youth?
I think great question. We all know that today's youth doesn't like the normal colors, right? Who wants to wear a blue, a gray, etc. Maybe similar to what colors I like to wear. Nowhere youth. But let's ask one of our experts actually to give their view on what youth kind of get attracted to, how they get engaged. And so what we'll do is we'll actually go back to Summer. Again, like I said, he runs a company called Ekeeda, very much into content, web design, all that kind of stuff, and ask him.
I think it's very similar to what they wear, or it's pastels. It's not. It's the new age colors, right? The greenish, which is more in their tinge, brighter colors, and I think their design sensibility is very, very. I think a lot of white spaces, very less. I think is very similar to their thinking. They don't want limiting thing. They don't want like boxes. They do not like, it's free flowing, very open. That's the kind of design they like. And I think the older generation likes more bucketed stuff because they want to be guided, saying go here, go there. I think it's more open, more colorful as the youth audience is what likes. And again, if you see websites which are catering to youth, you'll be able to see it in 2 minutes, right? So we work for a brand called Happily Unmarried. You have a look at their website. It's absolutely catering to the youth audience, and you see the way it's designed. It's very quirky. It's very comical. It's very into them. Whereas a website, a more mature-ish website, I'm actually not able to think of it. Let's say a Fab India website. It's a very Biba is very in that kind of. And I think that brand is also catering to that kind of an audience, and you can see, I don't know whether knowingly or the aesthetics are moving in that. It's very audience driven, is my understanding, and the insight of the audience is very, very important.
All right, going back to my point, there's a couple of points he made. Okay, obviously color was one. The other was about the boxes that we discussed. right? Today, the youth or the people that actually come online and want to buy don't like being constrained. Like he correctly said, it's their nature, right? This is how they are. They want free flowing, right? They don't like to be constrained. They don't like to be told, do this, do that, okay? I mean, he's going to turn off some older people by saying that, but that's okay. But yes, I think some great points that he's made. This kind of brings us to a conclusion on user interfaces, okay? Unless you have more questions on user interface. I think what we'll do is, like I said, again, when we get into marketing, we'll be revisiting a lot of the content strategy and user interface elements, etc., as part of that, okay? Anyway, with this, we come to the end of user interface.